Do you feel torn between science and faith? Well, when I was a little boy, I was extremely interested in science. I wanted to know how fish could breathe underwater, so I got a fish tank. I wanted to know how planes could fly, so I built model airplanes. I was all about the science. I thought the idea of God was silly, and I had no need for it. So I was a budding little atheist. A little bit later, when I was a teen, I watched this video called Jesus of Nazareth, and I was really struck by his way of pulling in the people who are on the fringes of society, the prostitutes, the lepers, and I also admired his authority and his courage to face death. So I began to read the Bible just to understand it, and I began to pray to God, and I do that every night. When I got to college, this conflict came to a head. As a physics major, I said it's irrational to believe in God. So for 2 weeks, I stopped praying and reading. And after about 2 weeks, I began to miss God. So I went back to praying and reading. What was I to do? I tried to feed both parts of my head. So I went into the Peace Corps. I tried to help people. And so for 2 years, I lived in Western Samoa. It was really a fun time. I taught high school. But after I got back, I pursued a PhD in science. So I tried to feed both parts. So I was delighted when I got to talk with Anthony Jack. He's a professor at Case Western Reserve in both neuroscience and philosophy. And what he and his colleagues were able to do is they were able to use imaging techniques, functional magnetic resonance imaging, and look at two distinct networks in people's brain. One they call the analytic network, which was basically activated by physics type material, and another they called the empathic network that is basically activated by social material. And what they found is that when one network was on, the other network was off, in a sense, and vice versa. And so here's a little picture from one of his publications. And the main thing to see is that when one of these curves is high, the other one is low. When one is high, the other is low. And so healthy people actually show the signature of having these networks basically flip and flop back and forth. Unhealthy people have a mixture where it's not really clear what's going on. So he thinks we should actually cultivate both networks and not be too much in one or too much in the other. So if we were to take his advice seriously, what that would mean is that religious people should actually respect scientific findings as truths of nature. It would also mean that scientific people should be more open to moral truths that might not be able to be proved in a laboratory, but that seem intuitively correct, like it's good to love your neighbor. So here's my question for you. Are you balanced? I don't know if I am. I'm trying to be. Are you balanced, or do you know someone who's balanced, or do you have struggles with balancing these two things? I'd love to hear your comments down below. Thanks.